Malcolm here, and welcome to the Sunday Sample, episode 21. We have come of age. Now, you'll know if you've been looking at watching or listening to the last two episodes that I've been focusing on Hebrew words for praise, and I've been doing this because of a book I've been reading by Chris Tomlin called Holy Roar, spelled R-O-A-R, and I've been using this research into the meaning of the Hebrew words for praise to help me prepare myself and worship teams to lead others in worship. Now, this is the third word we're going to look at today, and I'm going to be using this for our worship team in Watford and in Thames Valley. And it's the word Zamar, Z-A-M-A-R, Zamar, meaning praise. It can mean, just to give you an example, it can mean to strike with the fingers. It comes out of that idea of striking, to touch the strings of the parts of a musical instrument, to play upon a musical instrument, to make music, to be accompanied by the voice, to celebrate in song and music, to give praise, to sing forth praise, to worship God and proclaim his excellence. Rather good. Or it can mean psalm. So this is the idea. It comes up 41 verses in the Old Testament, all the way from Judges through to Isaiah, focused in particular on the book of Psalms, as you might expect. And in Psalm, one example, Psalm 144, verse 9. I will sing a new song to you, O my God. On the 10-stringed lyre, I will make music to you. And that word, Zamar, is the make music in that verse. There's quite a few. You can look them up. I just need a bit of a heads up on. I'll give you some references in the notes to the video. I'll pop them in the notes there so you can look up some of the other Old Testament references to the use of that word, but there you go. And one particular example that I like that Chris Tomlin brings out is in 2 Kings. Let me read here. In 2 Kings 3, we've got a situation where Moab revolts, and Jehoshaphat wants to find a prophet to help things out. And he's told about Elisha, and Jehoshaphat says, yes, the word of the Lord is with him. And so they go to Elisha. So here's the prophet. They've gone to him. And Elisha said to the king of Israel, this is 2 Kings 3, verse 13, why do you want to involve me? Go to the prophets of your father and the prophets of your mother. No, the king of Israel answered, because it was the Lord who called us 3 kings together to deliver us into the hands of Moab. Elisha said, as surely as the Lord Almighty lives, whom I serve, if I did not have respect for the presence of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, I would not pay any attention to you. But now, and what next? With all of that build-up and all of the significance of what's going on, but now what, Elisha? Bring me a harpist. Of all things, bring a harpist? How about bring some scrolls, or bring me my assistant, or bring me a sacrifice, or bring me a harpist? Yes, that's what he asks for. While the harpist was playing, the hand of the Lord came on Elisha, and he said, this is what the Lord says, I will fill this valley with pools of water. And indeed, the next morning, verse 20, about the time for offering the sacrifice, there it was, water flowing from the direction of Eden. The land was filled with water. Elisha knew, as Chris Tomlin puts it, let me quote for you from the book, Elisha knew the power of a good soundtrack, how it frames the moment. Music so often prepares the heart for the reality of an important message. Love the way Chris Tomlin sees that. The power of a good soundtrack. Now, isn't that true? The way that we worship is enhanced by music. As we try to engage with the personality, the nature of God and his character and his attributes, the music helps us to do that. Isn't that true? Another quote. As we listen to music, can't we recognize the way it prepares our souls to receive God's word? Can't we allow it to soften us? Can't we appreciate how it serves as a vehicle carrying our praise to the throne of God? When we do, we are participating in the Zamar. Music is designed by God, isn't it? He made it, I believe that. Music is designed by God to assist and to help our spiritual awakening. It helps us to listen to him. It helps our spiritual growth. Do we as worship leaders see it this way? That music is not just it is a tool in a way, but it's more than a tool. It's something that actually enhances what God is doing. It's not just that we are supposed to now sing a song or do this particular piece of music. We're entering into a vehicle that God is going to use to his glory and to communicate something, and that we're going to use it to be able to communicate to God. Isn't that wonderful? It enriches our understanding of the significance of music, I believe. So here are a couple of implications from that occur to me, and perhaps other ones occur to you, and I'd love it if you would record your thoughts wherever you see or hear this recording. But here's one. The first thing is this: if this is true, then we must allow the music to do its work. We can't be too focused in on a very specific way of leading a song, singing a song, performing it, the structure, the right bits and pieces that all go together to make it right, the way that people stand and sit and all of that stuff. That's all important at times, but the music must be allowed to breathe, to be able to do its work so God can connect us with him through it and that kind of thing. So, for example, it may be a good idea to use music to set a mood before we engage with the song in the words for either the worship team and or the congregation. We're setting the mood. For example, an example might be well-known song 10,000 Reasons. 10,000 Reasons, for example. Rather than just jumping straight into the song or just a short intro, how about just a very simple, whether guitar or piano, and I'm going to give you a very basic example here because my piano skills are limited, but nonetheless, something like this, rather than just a chorus and then bless the Lord, oh my soul, and off we go. How about really quiet and softly allowing the music to play for a while? Point, we might well come in, but how about extending it? Maybe then, bless the Lord, and off we go into the song. We've let the music do some work. Perhaps the lyrics are on screen. The congregation knows the song. They know where we're going. And it's not that we're playing that just to get everything ready. The worship team should already be ready. Singers standing at their microphones ready, or the other instruments ready. And so we're not looking around and looking distracted while this is going on. We're focused already. I think it's so important. If this kind of thing is going to work, the whole worship team must be engaged in the mood that we're trying to help people connect with from the beginning of the song. As soon as that first chord is played, we're all there, present and ready to, at the right time, begin the song in terms of the words. The communication has already begun with that very first chord. So let's all be ready. So that's the first thing that makes me, as I think about this idea of Zamar, is the music can do its work if we let it have some space to breathe. The second thing is to share your music story. If you, like me, were helped spiritually at some points in your life, you've been helped to grow spiritually by music, then it's important to share your story. I often tell people one of the main reasons I'm a Christian is because of music. There's something in the nature of music that means that I cannot believe that this is all random. At the very base level of all things, it just doesn't make sense to me that sound waves operating on my eardrum can help me in some way and make sense to me in some way. And that helped me to believe there's more to this than what I can see or feel or hear exactly. So it's one of the reasons I believe in God, and I could tell you other stories about particular songs at a certain time that have helped me to have a breakthrough or strengthen me to continue in my faith. And I'm sure you have your stories too, don't you? And here's the thing. Have you told them to anyone? Does your worship team know your stories? Does your congregation know your stories? And do you know the stories within your worship team, if you're a worship team leader? And do you know the music stories of your congregation? A great thing to do might be to have a devotional with your worship team, a little bit of an extended time saying, tell me your music stories, how they have helped, how music has helped you, and when and how and why. Perhaps in the congregation to have a special devotional where you talk about that kind of thing, and makes it helps everybody to become more grateful than ever for the fact that we can express ourselves in music with God and to God and with one another in corporate worship. So some ideas are based on this Hebrew word of Zamar. So those are some thoughts for us. I hope they've been helpful. I would love to know what you think. Please tell me what you think about this word, about the concept of the music being used by God to help us spiritually. Post a comment wherever you see or hear this recording, because we learn best when we learn in community. And then, of course, as I always say, please pass this on. Pass this link on to one other person that you think might benefit. A worship leader, a member of a worship team, or anybody that might find this useful material for them in their relationship with God. So thanks so much for watching and listening, and I do hope the next time you gather with your friends and with whoever is with you to worship God at that time of corporate worship and of Zamar, that it will help you to be close to God, strengthened by God, and that this corporate worship will please God, whom we love and wish to serve with reverence and awe. Take care and God bless.